Welcome to the Parts and Labor Podcast, the podcast that explores the strategies, systems, and stories that drive salon success. I'm Alicia, founder and CEO of Salon Scale.
And I'm Whitney, head of sales here at Salon Scale.
And welcome to the Parts and Labor Podcast. All right, back to you. All right, so I think, a lot of the conversation is we've gone into parts and labor. We've gone into controlling those costs, and then mindset of a lot of these salon owners that we talk to that have that limiting mindset, which is a little bit more I already know this. I don't think that's my issue, right? So I think that it comes back to again, the curious conversation of being open to understanding maybe another way, or maybe understanding that there is maybe something underlying in the things that we're doing. And I think the one thing I want to talk about is specifically salon owners getting out from being in the business, because I think you truly can't really operate or stay on top of these things when you're in it. Mm-hmm. So if you're the rock star hairstylist in the salon and you own it, and you're also paying all the bills, and you're also coaching and training the team, so it's you're taking on every division, and every in a typical business you'd have HR over here, and you'd have an education division, and you'd have tons of different resources. And so I think we get trapped in the being spread ourselves thin, that we work so in the business that we're not on top of it. And I think that that comes down to mindset. I know I learned this a lot. As a former salon owner myself, I had to learn this. And now running a tech company, I had to learn how to really stay on top of things and start to look into the future. So help guide people into where things need to go. So that's really where I want to kind of talk about this whole mindset, and getting out of the business. This business should pay you in dividends. It should pay you to run the business. And if it's not a business. It's not a profitable business.
Right. Yeah, I think, and there are many that we talk to that are like that, and are still doing everything, even working behind the chair and still not taking home a paycheck because they're putting it all in the business. And that's that's when you talk about, creating Salon Scale and doing it really to have no other salon owner feel the way that you felt as a salon owner, because I think it's incredibly common. And we hear things salon owners talking about how they want to fall back in love with their business. And I think a lot of that is probably directly related to cash flow, being able to have your business pay you and run a consistently profitable business.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you're asking yourself now, you're listening to this, if you have any ounce of resentment, you're in this zone. You're in the zone. Okay. So your business for the first couple of years is fucking awesome. It's you're growing, you're the talk of the town, you're the thing, and then you're attracting talent, and everyone wants to work for you, and you have that vibe, and it's that's great. And then eventually when you're trying to really, grow a more efficient business, or you kind of lean into that stuff, it taps into the things that you're more likely, uncomfortable with. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times you're you kind of get into that mindset where it's well, we'll just charge more, or we'll just keep doing more of the kind of side of the business, which is unfortunately not going to survive. Mm-hmm. It's not going to create a more sustainable, sustainable team and get you to where you need to go. And so this is really where you are going to move from being a business owner to being a true CEO of a business. You are the chief executive officer. You need to make the highest level decisions in the business. You have to work on your business, not in it. And so sometimes those defensivenesses that we face when we have conversations right away, I was well, I already know that. I already charge this, or that's not my issue. I just need to understand my product costs. That's where we try to help, pull back with stylists and salon owners when we talk to them, is for every solution. So we're going to give you that solution. Mm-hmm. We'll tell you what the product cost is. We have a technology that will do that. But for every solution comes more problems. So we'll give you the exact cost of that product. Now the next problem is you probably have to understand, how does that work with my current pricing model? So there's problem number one. How are my stylists going to feel about this? How are my customers going to feel about this? So then it hits those 3 points, which is like where we originally started off with the conversation about understanding this fully. So I find that like, it depends on like really where we start with a new, a new lead, a new customer that comes through. It takes a while to see like where they're at. I like the ones that are like right up into curiosity are the ones that have the best success in the end. Like they're the ones that like create action and they move. The ones that are a little bit more like rigid at first and they think like, I have it all, I've figured it out.
My problem is waste.
Problem's just waste. I don't need to know. I don't want to listen from you. Like it kind of gets that. And I don't take offense to this. Like it's actually just a mind, like it's just a behavior. And it's just like where you're at. So like, I'm okay with that, but they always come back. They always come back later, because we're not in the market to like tell you what to do. We're trying to educate you on maybe opportunities. And like, I think it's all about like the more that you buy into this in the sense of like how it's going to work for you, you'll find the success. Yeah. So like, we're not going to push. We're not going to like, we're like, no, that's the last thing, right? Like, it's like the number one thing.
The
is
worst salespeople ever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure, not now. Okay, when should we talk to you next month? But like, I think that's the big thing is that like these things take time, and like we are just really driven in that like when you're ready and you're curious and you want to understand these things, like we're going to give you the best resources possible to make this 100% success for you.
Well, because a lot of times the problem doesn't go away. If it's waste, okay. We can tell you how much wasting you're doing, or we can tell you what the product costs are, but you can stare at the numbers? Like we have a way to fix the actual problem, which often is really at the root. It's like cash flow. And kind of like you said earlier, don't ever feel bad about, making money off of every part of your business. This is a business. I see a lot currently of salons asking other salons, like, what are you guys doing to make extra money? Like, we're slow. Like, are you learning new techniques? Are you bringing in different retail? And the answer is right there, in your back bar. It's turning it from an expense into a revenue stream in your business based on something you're already doing. And it's just, I think, overcoming that like guilt of like, not to my loyal clients. It's like, they want you to have a profitable business. They want you to stay open. They want to see you succeed if they're truly loyal clients and if they care. And all you have to worry about is doing a good job, really.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think it's important, and I think that, the best time to like try these things was yesterday. I would say like the best time was yesterday. And I think that like sometimes it's like, just start by understanding. Like, you don't have to like, oh, we're going to start putting on the bill tomorrow and adding on top. Like, legitimately do yourself a favor and just track it for a day, a week. Yeah. Like, what is that backward costing you? And then like after 1 week and you can see that like that was like $1,500, like, would you like another $1,500 a week? Because that's exactly what it will do. And so it's kind of like changing the mindset of, instead of thinking of it as an expense, it's like, it's a revenue driver. It's like, now you have an opportunity to do that. And I think right now with like so much change, like it's, if you're not in control of how many times our customers are coming into the business anymore, like you have to control one thing, which is your profit. Like, you have to ensure that you're making money, so that you can, stay around, like you can survive the next storm, the next thing that's going to come through your door.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, you know what? We covered a lot of things today. And I think like the big thing was just, again, mindset, parts and labor. What is it? And we kind of touched on a few touchy subjects, which is like getting your mindset around how to really communicate this with your like customers, your stylists, and like that every problem, when you find a solution, creates more problems. So we kind of really talked about those things. Realistically, there is so much more to cover, and we're going to bring that to you in future episodes. So stay tuned as we bring more of that to you.
Yep. We'll see you next time.